Welcome to Christian A, Christian B, the show where we sit Christians behind secret doors and ask them questions about their religion. Each week, we'll have a Christian behind door A and a Christian behind door B. We won't be able to see them, and they won't be able to see each other, but they can both hear everything that's being said on the show. I believe our contestants are set, so are you ready? Yeah! Then let's go! Today, we're going to be asking questions about salvation. Christian A, what would it take for a member of our audience to be saved?
A person can only be saved if they call on Jesus Christ by name and accept the gift of forgiveness he offered at the cross.
Great. And Christian B, same question.
I'd have to agree, Fred. They could only find salvation by calling on Jesus and accepting his sacrifice.
Thanks, Christian B. Now, Christian A, what would happen if a member of our audience died without salvation?
Their soul would be lost to hell for all eternity.
Ooh, tough break for that person. And what about you, Christian B?
Again, I'd have to agree with Christian A here. Hell is the only alternative to accepting Christ.
Okay, so then Christian A, here's a slightly different scenario. What if someone living in an isolated tribal village died without even hearing who Jesus was?
Well, this is basically the same as the last question. The person would not have accepted Jesus, and he's the only way to heaven. So sadly, they would be condemned to hell.
Wow, that sure is sad.
Yes, and that's why Jesus charged us to take the gospel to all corners of the earth, and why it's so very important that we support or participate in overseas missions.
Very good point. And Christian B, what do you think?
Well, I'd have to disagree with Christian A on this one.
Whoa, so we finally have a disagreement between our contestants?
Yes. I believe God only judges people based on the knowledge they have. He would never condemn them for something they didn't know. But the Bible is very clear that calling on Jesus is the only way to be saved. Of course, but they would get some concept of God through nature and through the Spirit working in their heart, right? Sure, some concept of God, but that would only give them a vague deistic feeling that could lead them to any religion. If that counts for salvation, then what makes Christianity distinct or necessary? This takes you down a slippery slope that would lead to any sincere practitioner of any religion going to heaven.
Now, ladies.
So like I said, that's why we need missions. So are you saying that a person who would have willingly accepted Christ, given the chance, would be sent to hell just because we weren't diligent enough about spreading the gospel? That's a harsh way of saying it, but yes, that's why the Bible implores us to us. I still stand by the fact that salvation is a matter of accountability between a person and God and shouldn't depend on what other people do or don't do. To say otherwise is to say God is totally
Yeah! Looks like we have some serious differences of opinion here. So what's the deal? Are these ladies from different churches? Different denominations? Let's take a look and see who they are. Christian A is Beth Harrington from Bellevue, Washington. And Christian B is also Beth Harrington from Bellevue, Washington. Confused? Well, Christian A is Beth while she's listening to a guest speaker during Missions Month at church. And she feels very strongly that missions are necessary for the salvation of indigenous peoples around the world. But Christian B is Beth while she's arguing with an atheist about why God's fair. And she would never, ever entertain the possibility that God would send an indigenous person to hell just because your church didn't support a missionary. Of course, in other contexts, Christian B would never admit that people could get to heaven based on vague religious feelings that don't involve the name of Jesus or the practice of recognizable Christianity. But we didn't have time to invite a Christian C today.